Hey, Besky Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc. And months ago, I threw a boomerang, and now I just live in constant fear. Alongside of me is Ollie DePina, and one time Ollie went to the doctor for a headache. The doctor looks in his ear, and he pulled out $1,999. He looks at Ollie and says, I guess that's why you're not feeling too grand. Welcome to episode 60 of the K.O Disc Golf Show. Episode 60 is the Polywag episode. Famous players to wear the number 60, we got Concrete Charlie himself, Chuck Bednarik. Red Sox players that wore the number 60, we got Ryan Lavarnway, Daniel Nava, and Daniel Bard. Fun fact, I actually went to college with Ryan Lavarnway's sister, which is pretty cool. So the season he got called up to the Major League Baseball, she was able to just take a quick train ride over and watch his MLB debut. So pretty cool hearing about it.
Nice.
Mariners players to wear the number 60. We got Taylor Saucedo. And Ollie, you want to hit us with the Giants?
We got Brad Benson from 1978 to 1987, one-time Super Bowl champion. He was a guard, just a lineman, dog, and another great lineman in Sean O'Hara from 2004 to 2010. My favorite number 60 for the Giants. And yeah.
Nice. Well, before we get into the episode, I just want to take a quick second and say Happy Pride Month from us here at the KO Disc Golf Show. Here at the KO Disc Golf Show, yeah, we support all guys, gals, and gays. So Happy Pride Month to you all. Ollie, how you doing, man?
I am doing well. I'm pretty tired, like it feels like it's been a lot of go. The golf I've been playing has been like just long, like from kayak to this past weekend. It's just been a lot of going. So like my days off, I've been feeling like I've been doing more work than my days on, at work, which are usually pretty physically demanding. So been tired, feel that. I've had some like, I got home watching a show. I remember I was excited. Roxy and I started Severance, and so we threw on the first episode, and she paused the show. It was at 20 minutes. I was asleep the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, it's been kind of like that week. So, um, been dog sitting at my friend's house, which has been really fun. So, taking advantage of, being in a little different space and stuff like that, which is always a good fresh up and hanging out with, he's named Leo. He's a French pug, and he's just like the cutest guy, and he's so fun to hang out with. Yeah, so been
Dude,
enjoying that time, and yeah.
that's cool. That dog's gonna always remember you too. So anytime you come over, he's gonna be like, "Oh, that's my pal, my buddy," kind of thing. So
Every time I come into his house, he's like, my friend goes, "It's your uncle," and like he comes
yeah,
up and gives you a hug, so he knows. And so then I think this is going to be even more of that bond's getting deeper this weekend, so it's going to be even more.
that's awesome, man. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, let's get right into it because yeah, we've been you know getting out there playing a lot. You and I on this past Friday drove down to Portland and we played in two different flex starts happening at Glendevere at the same time. So we pretty much walked the entire Glendevere property, back and forth kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, I've played Portland Open the last couple of years, so I have I'm somewhat familiar with Glendevere. The East course was really similar to last year, other than like we had talked about, like a couple of OBs got moved in and that kind of thing. Some of the baskets they said got pushed back, but I don't think that actually like impacted a lot of what I was doing out there, especially when my shot went from 200 feet to 240 feet. It's just like, well, either way, that's not being robbed of a birdie in any way, shape, or form, kind of thing. So, Ollie, what are your kind of reactions to the courses out there? What are your kind of your first takes?
Um, so cool. Like I think my first takes getting to the property, I am just like it was like kind of just pure bliss. I'm like literally jaw dropped. I thought this was like so crazy. Was feeling so good during warm-ups, throwing, like the atmosphere was awesome. It was just a really good vibe there. And then actually getting to the course, those holes are so demanding, and it's so demanding of not just a good shot off the tee. You have to be controlling your shot 250, 350 feet down until, it does hit the ground, and controlling the angle it does, where if you get on the wrong angle, if you skip the wrong way, you're in a hazard, you're going OB, other things like that. It's where in my head, you have a game plan, and I think I was doing well with like trying to execute my game plan, but I think my game plan was a little ambitious for never playing the course and just watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's some shots I definitely need to practice some more for playing a course like that. Like specifically, just like even think like just right away thinking about hole one, having like a little more of a turnover shot that I know isn't going to push too straight or burn too right. I think is a control shot I definitely need to work on and practice a little more. Um, and that the whole course was really demanding that kind of shot style. It demanded you to control your nose angle on shots. It demanded you to just do so much with your game where it was a blast. I got my ass kicked that front nine and it was a blast. I think I shot 12 over on the front nine and that was like, whoa.
Yeah, I think you
I
finished 12 over for the
and I
day, right?
finished 12 over.
Yeah.
Yes. So I definitely after that 12 the front I was like the holes seemed to I started going down the fairway and being like this is a birdie hole or this is a par hole. Which I think before I was like how can I get the birdie on these holes which even in my head, I told you like par is good, par is that, and like I could say that as many times as I want, but my brain and what I really want was to like, how can I go like try to do something cool, like,
Hmm.
and I kind of let that get to the best of me for sure. But going down, I remember I walked down, I think it's hole 14 that like through the Mando and you go straight and there's OB left where you're like oh my there is an OB line that goes all the way
Oh,
like
yeah.
here.
Yeah. I was kind of
I
surprised by that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that hole I walked down and I was like, I don't I think to make sure I throw a good turnover shot, I can't be trying to bite off as much distance to try to get a three. This is a four all day for me. And I remember I went my Avery Destroyer into my my fairway finder into my tilt, and I was like, that was a perfect hole. And I got my par, and I was like, perfect. I literally couldn't have done it better. Where I was so happy with that, but um, it was super awesome. I think Glendoveer does an amazing job of the property they have. It kind of just was eye-opening in a way. If you have like that elevation and if you have those kind of fairways, what you could possibly do. And it kind of thinks like kayak. Well, there are some great holes on golds that I do like. It seems like they could be using some of those like entrances into the blues course for like ending holes or starting holes a little more, going through those like kind of tree lines instead of just shooting straight into the tree line or straight like us to the side of it. Like if you were straight shooting from tree line to the other side of that tree line, popping out to the other opening, like if it's like you're thinking about hole one and hole 17 on golds, like you could
Hmm.
like if there was some kind of like cross between there, you're trying to pop out to the other side, through that path between I believe it's 8 and 9 on blues. That could be a really cool spot and a really cool hole in fairway, but it just made me think so much more about that course because Glendoveer, I think, really puts it the best. Like the elevation, the whole challenge, everything was just so there. The West, I did not get to play with OBs or anything, but that course was amazing, and the elevation almost got. I was curious. I was like, "There's no way the West has more elevation," and you're like, "I think the West has more elevation," and I
Yeah.
was like, "What?"
Yeah. The
And
more throughout our day, you were like, does it? And I was like, man, I'm starting to think like more and more holes that had like more downhill. I was like, maybe it does. Oh no, you know?
yeah, so that threw me off and was such a cool experience. I felt spoiled like getting to go play that. Talking to some of the locals, just knowing that like it's not in ground all year long. It's like this is a treat for them as well. It was cool. The atmosphere there during that weekend is awesome, and it gave me that much more motivation. I feel like to really figure out some stuff and put that goal to be there, at least get to the qualifier next year and try to get playing at that event on the pro tour because it is something amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you just said for sure, like their use of like there's not a lot of trees out there, and they don't have like thick like rough like woods or anything like that, but you do feel like you're in and out of the trees a lot. I feel like they're really strategic and well placed mandos where you're not being like, man, there's so many Mandos really just like forcing you this way or that way kind of thing. It was just like actually like the Mandos are like pretty fair, and they definitely keep you like in the desired shape, or the desired line because there is a very birdieable shape to throw. There's very like honest lines that are they're not asking like crazy things. They're just really demanding because yeah, like we played on a really calm day and we were still finding OBs and stuff like that. Now if it's windy and you add all kinds of other factors to it like that course gets so much more difficult and that kind of thing. So um I love playing there. It is I really do believe it's like one of the best disc golf properties or best properties to play disc golf on at least. Um I don't know if you saw Ollie, but in some of the rule changes, and we're going to get to those next week more in depth. But one of the rule changes that's proposed is for the Monday qualifying event and to play in any like Pro Tour events, the minimum rating's been bumped up. So it's now going to be 950 instead of I think it's like 935, right?
35.
Yeah. So that's going to get bumped up to next year. So
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, I don't
yeah.
think that's. I think that makes sense, and I don't. I think that's a good thing, honestly. Um, this is my
Well,
first news of hearing that. I mean, my goal is to be well above that by
oh
next
yeah.
year, so I think it's a good thing. I think it's an awesome thing for me to now my goals pushed even more in that sense. You know, of trying to get that rating up, and it's ratings don't matter, but at the end of the day, you know, they do to an extent. And so I definitely need to get that up. And so I just need to be playing better mental golf, more disciplined golf. And so I think, yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think it will make people have to, I mean, I think Washington, we have a little bit of a different problem than other states. I think like our field ranges are kind of crazier from the other states I've competed in. Like even going down to Oregon for this past, like most of the MA1 guys are like pretty good. Like they're like I don't know. They're it's different in a sense. Like they're in
Hmm.
the 960s. They're 950, 970 in the in MA1 and kind of like doing that. So kind of just shows the different competition fields in that sense in ratings kind of base, but it I think like it makes sense and it will be good for other states and I think it will make Washington really have to push for the if you want to compete with the best players you got to be like taking that seriously in
Yeah.
every event. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing because yeah, you definitely don't want I mean, like, in all due respect, you know, like you don't want to have like 935, 940 players like slowing cards down, causing big backups, which are then gonna like, you know, escalate and domino to like to later afternoons and stuff like that. So you want it to be like it's a pro tour event. You want to have the best talent in the world. So having like a ratings cap, I think is kind of or like a ratings minimum, I think is good for that kind of thing. I agree with you. Ratings don't matter, but there's like 1 month out of the year that I am like really honed in on what my rating is, and that's when the Pro Tour event signups are. I'm looking at it definitely like a month or two ahead of time, being like, okay, we got to get to 1010 so we can be, you know, in this level of like registration and sign up. And back in the day, it was 1,000 rated, and there was a bunch of events that I was 999 rated and couldn't I had to wait an extra week to sign up for those events and it's like just a killer, you know. So um I know it's interesting. We'll get more into the new rules
Yeah.
talk and that kind of thing next week. Ollie and I are looking forward to diving into
Kind of
that.
dropped a bomb on me there. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
so
lie.
yeah, yeah, just
I didn't know that. Now my brain's like moving a million miles per second. But
yeah, I kind of heard it in a I think I heard it in a podcast yesterday or something like that as just kind of like an offhanded thing and I was like, "Oh, like that's kind of it's interesting."
overall, I like that.
Yeah.
Overall, I like that.
It's good for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, the West Course was not the same as what I've played in years past. Some of the holes were pretty similar. Not having any OB out there was really like, oh, like I actually like I was almost like befuddled for a few seconds on some holes because I was like, well, with no OB, like I could go out there, and I was like, well, no, if I went out there, I'd be out of bounds. It's like there is no out of bounds. Like shots that I was like really afraid of, and like kind of like in years past would have been like, no, you don't do that. We're very much like, oh, I could just go out there, can't I? You know, and
Yeah.
then that kind of thing. So, um, it was cool. I think some of the baskets were shorter than in years past as well, which is, I mean, for a couple of flex starts is like perfect for that kind of thing. Those flex starts is such a cool thing for them
Yeah.
to do. If you're the pro tour and you have two courses that you're operating at, and one of them you already have reserved and set up, just do it. Just do a C
Yeah.
tier flex start. It's the easiest thing. They're super fun. You know, it's like we were talking with a couple of the guys yesterday who are running it, or on a Friday who are running it, and they're even saying they're like, yeah, like we got you guys down from Washington to come and hang out. it's a cool thing. We get people coming in and getting really excited about the event and hanging out at the area and being more and more excited about the weekend. Oh man, the guys are coming tomorrow. Like you and I can compare our scores to what, the Pro Tour came and did. So it's a cool thing that I would love to see happen. I don't know if it happens at more events. Honestly, I've never really checked, but this is the first year I've seen it at least. So
Yeah, and think of like from Glendevere's perspective, like they're hosting this Pro Tour event, but they're like, aren't you guys supposed to be in like Estacada right now? Like, what are you? And then there's just like a bunch of people still playing golf on the property, enjoying the property, doing that.
yeah,
So it shows that like even when the biggest event for the sport is somewhere else, there's still going to be people playing here, which is cool.
yeah,
We also play with Joel Gleghorn on the East Coast. Just want to shout that out and shout
yeah.
him out. Coming down as well and playing with us on that 11 o'clock card on the East Course.
Yeah, Joel was great. It was so funny walking down the fairway with him because I'm sure I've told you this, but years ago, years ago, I gave Joel a lesson, and I didn't remember that it was him specifically, but I remember our lesson really, really specifically because at the end of the lesson, we're doing backhands for an hour. He's throwing them, and they're all right. He's figuring it out, but it's not really there. And at the end of the lesson, he goes, "Hey, can I just like show you my forehand real quick, just to for you to see what's up?" And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And just boom, this thing goes snapping out of his hand, and I'm like, "What the hell was that?" Oh yeah, it's my, I'm more comfortable with that. I go, do that more. I go, just do that all the time. It was incredible. And we play with him out there and he's throwing standstill 400 plus PD2 forehands. He's flexing that gravity bomb all over the place. It was really cool. Really, really fun to watch him throw. Really good card mate. Round two, we played with the Jasons, right? Pinkle
Yep,
and Choate. Yeah, two
Jason and
Jasons.
Jason.
Both like M8 or MP40 like killers, bro. Like they
Dude,
were.
well, I'm pretty sure Jason was like, I think he said he also plays MP. He says it depends. I think he
Yeah.
can play 50. So like, I was like, my expectation going to this round, I was like, oh, okay, I've been the last few cards I played in, I've been like kind of the smallest arm,
Hmm.
like Loki, like Joel's forehand, Vitali, the another guy we
Yeah,
played with in the
dude,
first
he
round,
threw
he
so far.
bombed, he
Oh
bombed.
my god, he threw so far.
He, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I've been kind of, and then at the go throw event, I'm like, I've been kind of the guy with like, I'm not throwing the furthest, and it's okay. It's been kind of like a really good thing for my game. I feel like, I don't think it's a bad thing ever in
You're
that sense
finding
to
the fairway.
exactly. I'm like, oh, more of a finesse guy anyway.
Hmm.
Just the spin kid. Come on, man. But and so then I get up to this card and I'm like, okay, I got some like they're talking about playing MP50. I was like, oh, all good. And I remember stepping up and just watching him tee off hole one on the West course and being
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my god, we got
you,
to like hole eight and it was like. Like Kirby was like, "Oh, just do that." I think it was Jason Pinkle that went. He was like, "Oh, just do that." I go, "I'm not throwing it that far,"
yeah,
and I was like, "Dude, these
yeah.
guys were ballers and like going up and like looking for discs. They were fun with their banter,
Hmm.
uplifted the card the entire time. I thought it was just such a joy. Like really, really, really good people down there.
No, those guys were awesome. I remember on hole one, you turned around, you looked at me, and you were like, "What the hell?" Like these guys are great. Yeah, they were so fun. They were such good people. Huge fan of both of them, and honestly, everybody who played this was really great. We did have all the whole day, awesome day, great experience. One part of the experience was so bad that I have to bring it up on here. And it's crazy how bad it was. So we had a couple hour break in between the two rounds, by intention. We went to the gas station, got some drinks in that,
Dutch
refueled.
Bros.
Yep, and we're like, hey, we're gonna go to the clubhouse. We'll get some pizza and a beer and like hang out for a bit. We got 3 hours, and we each get two just slices of pepperoni. And I kid you not, I don't even know if I have anything around here to emulate how like
I
thick.
couldn't. I remember I tried to grab the crust to like break it in half to like fold it, and I like couldn't, and then it snapped and like went. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my god,
yes, it was the worst pizza I have ever had in my life. It was so, and like the pepperoni on top, genuinely,
great.
like I just picked off a piece of pepperoni after a while, and I was like, I'm done eating this. Burnt crust, this dehydrated burnt crust. I don't even know what you want to call this thing.
It's like
The
matzo
pepperoni on
bread.
top, the pepperoni on top was great. That was the worst pizza I've ever had in my life. So Glendoveer, figure it out, man. I mean,
Yeah,
everything else was so great, and to have that detail of your clubhouse be so crappy is just insane to me.
I gotta give some like leeway. Maybe they're just not. I mean, they were advertising the pizza, so I'm not gonna give them all of it, but maybe they're more of a wings. Maybe they got some good sandwiches. I can't. I don't want to speculate and like give them the praise because that was one of the worst pizzas I've ever had in my entire life.
It's so
But
bad.
and side note, when we were sitting there, the woman behind me was like, "Oh, that's really burnt."
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, "Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
now that it's coming back, yeah, everyone's kind of
Ugh.
fucking up." But that I was like so excited. I was like, "Oh, what could make this property not the best in the entire world?"
Mhm. Like the worst pizza you've ever had in your life. Like, let me be clear. I'm very critical of everything happening at Kayak because I want Kayak to be so great. When I had a sandwich there, that barbecue was awesome. So like Kayak is literally doing the exact opposite of what Glendoveer is. Kayak's got really good food right now, and then the course can be have a lot of work. Glendoveer, that is just so bad. It was just wow kind of bad.
And it's like you're sitting. It feels like you're sitting down at a restaurant. So it's like I feel like I should. The food should have been like, yeah,
It's a cool
very
clubhouse.
very interesting letdown. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
definitely. Yeah, that was just kind of the one. I mean, just so weird. Um, all right, we're gonna look ahead to the upcoming weekend. This is the tournament look ahead presented by Emerald City Discs. Emerald City Discs, the gem of the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh,
As we look ahead to Seatac, it is the Takeoff 2025 Pro only weekend. It's going to be 3 rounds, two of OG 18, and then one is like 1 through 13, and then I think like 23 through 27 to finish it off or something like that. So um, I went out there yesterday, and then I went out again this morning before we started the show. And yesterday, SeaTac was looking really, really rough. And then this morning, it looks like, probably sometime yesterday afternoon, they mowed a couple holes. Their mowing there has gotten very interesting. They're not really like they're definitely just mowing whatever's convenient for them. They're really not like the place doesn't look very good right now.
yeah,
It's looked so much better in years past, and yes, everything's kind of like blooming right now and kind of like blowing up, but it really seems like they're just trying to mow like whatever's just like easy for them to mow, and if it's not easy for them to mow, they're just not. Like what is it? Hole 10, I think it is, has like calf high grass. You know what I mean? And like ankle high grass. It's just
yeah,
like it's not like horrible, but it's just like I don't know. This place doesn't usually look like this kind of thing.
yeah. That's tough.
Um, so hole 13, the way they mowed the fairway actually looks like really really cool. The left hand side, I put down a roller there, and a lot of times my roller kind of just goes straight and kind of hits that log on the left. Spent 20 minutes yesterday looking for a disc over there, and it was exactly where I thought it was. I just could not find it amongst how tall and how thick the grass was over there. So it's yeah, I think this weekend will be kind of interesting. We might actually have like a couple of lost discs. We might actually have a couple of people might have to be setting out those timers and kind of getting ready with them. So we'll see how that goes. A couple of big names coming out. We got Dallas Garber, Chandler Kramer, Colin Bryant. A lot of the usual suspects like Kenny Clark, John Albert, myself, John Anderson, Brandon McNew, Caleb Joyner, the Tenkleys, pretty much everybody that you would expect to see, from the Washington or kind of Seattle area is going to be there. So definitely looking forward to it. One of the starting on Friday. It's 3 rounder. So
Yeah, that will be fun.
yeah.
I will not be there.
No, I saw that. What are you doing this weekend? You working?
I am working and kind of taking I'm gonna go play a practice round, I think, with Chandler Kramer. But besides that, I think I'm giving myself like just doing putting practice and stuff, giving just like my body a little time off of throwing for a second.
Sure. Yeah,
If I do have some time, I think I might try to come down and watch a little though.
for sure.
But yeah, I remember talking to Chandler, and we were once he gets back because he had to go to like a wedding, I want to say, and so he flew out, and then he's flying back, and then so are coming back, and so then I think we're planning on getting around in, so it should be fun.
Cool. Yeah, I got the fucking goat Chug Knutson on the bag this weekend. So I love having him out there. The guy's the man. So it's gonna be good. We'll get right into the weather look ahead. This is the weather look ahead presented by Swamp Cow Kava Bar. Kava Bar, alcohol-free libation and lounge. Um, Weather look ahead. 10-day forecast. This weekend's gonna be like super nice. I think Friday is gonna be. Looks like Friday is going to be partially cloudy. We're looking at about 70, high of 78, low of 56. So we're pretty warm the whole day. Saturday, Sunday, both going to be very sunny. Sunday is going to be a scorcher. That finale is going to be hot. We're looking
Mm.
at a high of 86. I imagine we'll probably be at least in like the low to mid 80s, for most of the day or at least for start time.
Oh, I
So,
think I think I have Sunday off. I think I'll fully be there Sunday if I
oh
can.
yeah, dude, you should.
Yeah, it'd be fun to
Um,
watch.
Looks like we're gonna have really consistent winds looks like winds coming like south southeast at a pretty consistent 10 to 11 miles an hour all weekend long. So that's cool. I'm down for it. Should be really nice weather.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You always want to play Seatac when it's windy. Seatac can be. It doesn't don't need to make it rougher.
Yeah, for sure. Ollie, we missed this earlier, and do you want to do a quick rundown of the Northwest Championships before
Yes,
we get into
sir.
the draft?
Y-
All right. So, Ollie, I'm going to set you a 90-second timer.
Perfect.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Starting off in the FPO field, we had two Titans clash. The Holland Hanley Missy Gannon round one and round two, separated by only one stroke between the two rounds. Missy Gannon 16 down and Holland Hanley 15 down. Paige Pierce with the 11 down in fourth place, I think is like one of her highest finishes for the first, like she's kind of being back in contention, which is awesome to see. Round three, she shot the hot round with a 10 down, matching Holland Hanley. So Holland Hanley kind of breaking away from Missy Gannon, 25 down to Missy Gannon's 21, tied with Paige Pierce. And in the final round, Holland Hanley secured it with an 8 down, dominating the field. Kind of feels like it's going to be the Holland Hanley year. Everything's kind of been pointing to that. Her loss last year at Worlds just has kind of, I feel like, you kind of have to have that big loss to get that big win. So yeah, shout out to Holland Hanley. In the MPO field, it was the Gannon Burr Anthony Barella show. But to start off, Paul Ulibarri shot the hot round with an 11 down over at Milo, which is awesome to see. Great job. You kind of have to play to your strengths, find a course where you can do that and go ball. In the second round, falling off a little bit, but staying on pace to keep tied third, Paul Ulibarri shot 6 down, keeping with a 17 down. And then we got Paul Macbeth in the running with the hot round, tied with Gannon Burr with the 12 down in round two at Milo. Round three, Anthony Barilla comes to the East Course and shreds it with the 12 down. And in the final round, everyone knows what happened. I hope you've seen it. Yeah,
You're
that's it.
done. You're done. We got to talk about that final putt, though, dude. It
We will
was,
talk about it. That was fun.
yeah,
That was my first time. I'm gonna have a little bit more bullets and stuff, a little better, but
90
yeah, we can.
seconds is tough to fit all that in, bro.
I like that though. I kind of like the pace of that. That was fun. I think
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna keep trying to talk about the Pro Tour events, and we're gonna keep refining that, and we're gonna do our little 90-second checkups. But that last round will take a little more time because it was crazy, and this is our Northwest Championship swing, and we are a Northwest podcast group. So Gannon Burr and Anthony Barella coming down to the end. They come into that third round tied 27 down, 27 down. Everyone else 5 strokes away. I feel like this is what we're going to be seeing a lot of for the
Mhm.
future. This is going to
Yeah.
be anytime an open course is involved. I think Anthony Barella and Gannon Burr are the first two guys you need to talk about.
I don't, just not to cut you off, but I don't even think it's just open courses. I mean, look at
Yeah,
Cascade
true,
Challenge last weekend,
true.
too, and half at Milo. So I think they're just like, I think it's just
There,
going forward,
yeah,
we're just going to see these two guys. Yeah.
100%. Um, Anthony Barella, he's been able to hold on to wins before. I think he has like one or two, like there was one where it was like he was kind of slipping up and able to get his ground and get that win. I think it was either earlier this year, and but it kind of fell back into that old Anthony Barella where you're like, what is going on, dude? Like it was all his for like all that, for like the whole tournament, and even going down to the 18th hole, all he had to do was par. Like, and
Yeah.
the par would have secured the victory. And it watching, yeah, it
Playing that hole for par is not very difficult either. I mean,
no,
like when
not
we
at
played it
all.
again, we played totally different conditions, right?
Yeah,
But I got a 4, I think you got a 5. Like, we yeah, you got a 4 too. Yeah, we both birdied it that day. So I mean, it's not
no, but I'm
um
not saying there's no
no,
pressure
no.
there. There's not
No,
that. I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah. Totally different conversation,
I
obviously.
did look
But
at Roxy and
just
go, I birded that.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like if Anthony steps up to that tee and literally just says like, "Hey, put this in bounds, put the next one in bounds, put the next one in bounds, and jump putt next to the basket," like maybe that goes a little differently,
I
and
think
maybe
he
that's
could.
what he's trying to do. But I don't know. I think that hole's not incredibly difficult to par, so it kind of adds to the shock factor of him doing what he does
Yeah, so I think the first mistake was trying to bite off so much on that first drive. He turned over whatever he did and threw it so straight. I forget
and
what
low. Yeah.
low and straight, which I was like, whoa. I
Hmm.
was like, I showed where Roxy where his disc landed, and I was like not even halfway to the pond,
Yeah.
and I was left back here, but I got to look down the fairway. Like the Mando did not even come into play for me, which is like the whole thing about that, where it's so much better to just finish a little left of that, and that's why I feel like it left him a little awkward second shot where the pressure's on, boom, tree hit. That
Hmm.
tree hit really, really, really like put him even more out of position in his head, barely throws it in bounds there. So now he has to get up and down just to get that par save. And the but the thing, and then he did the right move by throwing the more overstable disc and just have and he beat the tree, which is like the biggest thing to get that putt. Which and so it was all right there for him. And then the dramaticism of Kyle Klein also shooting a 10 down that
Yeah.
last round, and then pushing it all the way to be like, wait, if he hits this putt and Gannon hits this putt and AB hits this putt, this is a three-way tie
Yes.
playoff, which
Which
was
is
not
awesome.
seen. And
Yeah.
that was if you told me Kyle Klein was going to be in a possible three-way tie, I would have been I wouldn't have
Dude,
believed you.
our Discmania group chat was like blowing up. People were like losing their minds. They're like, Berg, Klein coming down. It was so cool. That Discmania group chat when stuff like that's happening, like it lights up, man. It's really, really fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. And like I think I feel like I was like keeping track and watching scores and I kind of just had this feeling something was going to happen.
Mhm.
And when I saw that it was tied up, AB had the lead or AB had the stroke lead in the 18th, I was like, I don't. I just something. I was like, he's not winning this, and like it
Mhm.
was so crazy that watching how it happened, like it. It's truly
Yeah.
heartbreaking. He's definitely due for some big wins. It's not like that. It's not like he's not going to get them. This competition with Burr and other players are going to be for a long time. So it's interesting, but it's like it wasn't surprising, and I want it to be more surprising when stuff like that happens. Like I don't want to be like, oh, it's Anthony Abrela. He might like he's
Right.
done this more times than not, it's like
Hmm.
it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I don't know, man. That
It's
last putt was definitely low right for those baskets. I would assume it's like coming in way too hot. It's really hard to
yeah,
tell from the video, but it looks like it's coming in hot. It's low right, and those baskets really you need to be putting. You need to be hitting the heart, or you need to be coming down into the
yeah.
base of them like that. You can't be coming at them like that because they will shove you away. It was a good putt, but it wasn't good enough, kind of thing. It's just so tough, so
Like
tough.
if you think like that probably goes in 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, like that's probably still not good enough of a putt to
I was
like.
gonna say like 6. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I was like 60-40 says that falls or doesn't fall kind of thing. Like
so like no matter what, you got to putt better. You got to give it a better percentage.
yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I think moving forward, we're gonna keep trying. I'm gonna try to keep it to 90 seconds, but I'll have a little more bullet notes and everything. But that was fun.
that was really good. Yeah, I like that. All right, we'll get into the draft this week. It's kind of a different style of draft, a little different thing. So instead of drafting things this week, it is going to be things you can say in bed and on the disc golf course. Four phrases, whatever sentences, whatever you want to kind of put them as. Um, they're open to a little bit of like mine are kind of open to like a little like word subjectivity, but the point is there and the joke is there, kind of thing. So, Ollie, do you want to start us off with the first pick, or do you want the number two, number three?
I'll take 2 and 3.
You want 2 and 3? Sure. All right. I'm gonna go with the thing that it kind of sparked this for me. And it kind of made me laugh while I was out there playing disc golf. And mine is I'm about to empty my bag on this hole. Yep. I don't know how many times we've all just kind of been like, fuck it, we're just about to throw until we don't have any discs left in here. And, you know, when you say I'm about to empty my bag on this hole, I think we all know what that implies.
I think this is going to be a fun draft, and that is a great first pick. It's kind of hard because, like, some of the things I feel like I'm trying to do things like I've said on the disc golf course that are funny
Sure.
too, that like more applicable for that. And I think I use a lot of stroking jokes sometimes when I'm playing casually. So like, oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna have to stroke you for that one, or like, you know, like yeah, gonna have to stroking jokes is
Right,
kind of the
right.
general. Yeah,
I will stroke you. Yeah,
I will
basically.
stroke you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it's oh my god, I have some. I get it. It's like kind of goes more towards like the crowd, or like you'll hear crowds or like people behind you be like, you'll hear like a get in the hole, you know, like a find the
Mhm.
hole kind of thing. I think that's pretty applicable to
Sure. Yeah. All right. So for my number 4 pick, I'm gonna go with I told my wife I'm at work. That one's got a little bit of layer to it, but you know. And then for the number 5 pick, I'm gonna say $20 is kind of expensive. I usually play for free.
no, no. This is a hard one to take when you have one that's like on my list. That's hard because now I'm like scrambling for. I think the next one for my third pick, we're gonna go. It's also my wording's kind of bad because it's my wording's been kind of bad with these, but it's finished in 3 strokes. That's a par, as in how long you last in that situation. Yeah,
Got
you
it.
say
Yeah, yeah.
that's pretty. 3 strokes is usually pretty good.
Finished in 3 strokes, huh? Nice.
And then for my last pick, and I have one that's like I was trying to make it work that I'll say afterwards. That's like my honorable mention, but um, we're gonna go with talking about a fairway. It looks a little tight.
Looks a little tight. Yeah. Nice. And then for my last pick, I'm gonna pick you really need to trim that bush.
This is my honorable mention was because in swimming you'd always say go in hard, come out wet, and so I was trying to think of something about like grabbing a disc out of the water, like.
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought that was really good. That was a fun. That's a giggly draft.
My other one is I usually play by myself.
Oh my god. All right. Pretty fun, different draft. Quite
Yep.
enjoyed that.
I had a good time with that one.
I had a good time with that one. We will be wrapping up episode 60, moving into the 60s for this. Quite a fun time. Already had some linemen for my picks, and I think we'll continue to have some more linemen. To finish off, we got a quote talking about Sean O'Hara, my favorite number 60 Giant, one of my favorite Giants ever. You can take Sean O'Hara off the Giants, but you can't take the Giants out of Sean O'Hara. Aim high, shoot low, and we'll see you next week.